CVA's AccuraSeries, Bagara barrels for guaranteed accuracy, nitride for guaranteed rust proofing, and a rifle guaranteed to be the best muzzleloader you've ever shot. CVA, it's just a better gun.
This segment's being sponsored by Tri-Green Equipment. Stop in and see them at 21 locations in Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. They can take care of all your Honda, Steel, and John Deere needs. All right, guys, welcome back to the studio. I'm now joined by the whole full deck fishing family here. We've got them all up here with us. But now I just want to do a little bit more talking with these boys. Now this is you know, I get to go do this every once in a while. Every one of y'all have grown up doing this. I've watched you do it, all of you. Si, tell me a little bit about your experiences with it, you know, and kind of what you've taken out of it. I know now, again, you're fishing with Bass Nation and kind of moving along with that. So tell me a little bit about your perspective on it.
We moved down here in 2016. I was real little, and I had fished around here, but it was a whole new thing growing up. So I can just imagine when these kids come down here with their parents, or even the parents coming down here to charter for the first time, how it is. And I've been deckhanding with him a couple times, and it's really cool to see the kids' face light up when they catch that fish. Yeah,
well, and I already complimented you on this earlier, but I'll tell you again here on set that you did a great job. I mean, you were kind of like the Kodak hand there, but I mean, you helped a ton with those kids. I mean, you caught some fish,
Shoot,
but you spent way more time helping.
I was sitting back letting everybody else net the fish and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Bob had it made that day. You know, he was just kicked back.
That's right.
But no, you did a great job with them. I guess it's just you've grown up in it. You've watched it. You've helped both your younger brothers, you know, coming up doing it, and gotten to watch them and how they interact with it. But you know, it's fishing here is great too, but it's a different ball game, isn't it? I mean, you know, you fish here too. I mean, it's a whole new scale down there. Now, I will say this. I didn't catch a single bass this time. Thank you very much. Last time we went down there, it took 2 hours for me to find a redfish. Every bass in Louisiana was biting my line. I couldn't catch a redfish. But this time we didn't have to kick them bass out of the way. Even though that's what you're used to chasing around here, down there, they're just kind of just get them out of your way so you can catch another redfish.
Ditch pickles.
Yeah, ditch pickles. That's what Bob calls them, ditch pickles. Cash, now, let me talk to you for a second. I heard a little tidbit about you catching a fish bigger than you. So let's hear about this fish that was bigger than you.
Well, I caught it when I was about 5, right off the shore.
Really? Well, what was it?
Big redfish.
Big redfish? And y'all were just standing on the shore, and you got him in there. You've done this as far as starting age-wise. I mean, I've seen you out there on that boat when you, I mean, 2 or 3 years old. 3 years old. So, you know, I would say you have probably caught, for your age, more redfish than most any kid you could find. No doubt about it. But do you have any thoughts about, are you going to try to become a captain later too, maybe? You think you're going to try to guide later? I mean, you're a pretty good fisherman already. I want to see you fishing Bass Nation, though, just like your older brother, too, and Kobe over here, too. Y'all could be a force to be reckoned with.
He says he's a captain already.
See? There you go. Bob just has to drive the boat, right? You're the captain. He just has to drive the boat. That's how it works.
Captain Cash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great way to get, of course, the kids out, but not just that, but any people that are just getting started or don't have, I mean, you can go out. We had my wife go out with us this time. Now, she's fished with me quite a bit over the years, but never anything like this. No, she had a ball, you know, had a great time.
We're lucky enough to have enough fish to keep the kids interested.
Yeah.
There's not sitting there for 3 hours waiting for a bite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's what Nealon always tells me. Daddy, fishing just gets boring, you know, and the kid will sit there in the deer stand for 4 hours. If he's fishing for 20 minutes and don't catch fish, he's ready to go.
That's
you know, and it cracks me up. But you're right, it's just different down there. You don't. It's not the waiting game.
If they're not catching, then we do a boat ride to go somewhere to try to find some.
And they're good with a boat ride too. You know, they have no issues with a boat ride. But you know, we want to make sure we hit this. I don't want to forget to do this, and that's as far as you guys at home. You're looking for a trip to get set up. You got a fishing trip you want to do, a group or a few of you, a family trip or something. How do they need to reach out to you guys to get some fishing set up while they're in the area?
The best way is probably call or text.
All right. What's the best number to call, Cindy?
504-616-1755. It's
Okay.
Captain Bob's number.
Okay, and that's, again, of course, full deck charters. Y'all can also, they're on Facebook. And y'all can reach out to us. If you get to think about it and you want to know who those guys were we had on the show that night, reach out to us, and I promise you, I'll put you in touch with them and get y'all going. But, you know, to me, as far as the area, you know, even taken away from the fishing, I love the area down there. It makes for a great family trip. And the drive's a lot easier. You know,
it's not a bad drive at all.
We drive down to Florida and Alabama and other areas along the coast, and they're beautiful areas, but so much traffic and congestion and all that. And to me, it's just such an easier drive to go down and cut over, you know.
Yeah, we hardly ever run into traffic.
Yeah, before you know it, boom, you're right there, you know, at the water in New Orleans, and it's a very easy drive. It's just so much easier to do. So I definitely suggest you guys that have spent most of your lives like I did, you know, always going down to Florida and other areas, switch it up a little bit. Try it out and go down there, and I promise you won't regret doing it. Just visiting the area. And if you're into food like I am, you can tell I'm into food. But it's some of the best food. It's the best food anywhere I've ever traveled.
Eating's a sport down there.
It is. It's a professional sport too. And you know, I don't think we've ever eaten anywhere that wasn't good. You know, we do plenty of cooking around the house, but anywhere you go to eat too, I mean, it's just delicious. Great food down there in the area. And
there's a lot of stuff for kids to do down there. Everybody thinks New Orleans is Bourbon Street and adult stuff,
right,
but outside the city, there's tons of stuff for kids to do.
Oh yeah, we went to the zoo, we went to the aquarium, we went down to that was the first place I had personally ever seen a cruise ship. You know, remember when we were down there to the west, and I'd never seen one in real life, you know, and wow, you see those things, you really see how big they are.
They're big.
There's a lot of great things that you can do down there while you're resting from reeling in all those fish, because it will wear you out. Ask Emery. Emery will tell you. I remember when we took them a couple years ago, we got about halfway through that second day. Remember, them girls just sat down. They said, we're done. we had enough. And then me and Scott, you know, he and I got to catch a few fish after that. They had just plumb wore themselves out. But, you know, that's a great time. And then offshore, let's talk just a little about that now, guys. We're going to have an offshore show coming up here too, because we had a great day doing that. But just to hit on that a little bit, you do offshore trips. What kind of species are you usually targeting there?
It's mainly snapper, red snapper, mangrove snapper. Yeah, we catch some nice red snapper. And then mangrove snapper, we'll catch a cobia here and there. Now, we just purchased another boat, a bigger boat, and we're working on some more offshore stuff, but that'll be coming up in the future.
Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll go down there and check that out and let you know how it's all working. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun to catch those big red snapper. And matter of fact, Si caught a big one while we were down there this time. They eat great, yes, but when you're reeling one of those big jokers in and it's 100 foot down there, I mean, it's by the time you get into the boat, you're wore out.
It's some work.
It is work, and and they'll eat your bait. They're kind of tricky, man, because they'll take the bait off your hook more times than you'll catch them. I mean, you'll feel them, and they're gone.
With them circle hooks, you can't be jerking on them. You just got to let them get it.
Lesson learned, you know, and I learned it finally after a couple trips with you guys. But when you're out fishing with those circle hooks, and of course that goes for any kind of species you're fishing with a circle hook, you can't go yanking on that, you know, because even with the redfish, you see that fish hit or something, and your first instincts, especially as a bass fisherman, what you want to do, you know, you want to go yanking back on that rod, and with that circle hook, all you're doing is rolling that hook right back out of that fish's mouth, and it will, you know, it'll upset you there for a little while till you figure it out. just let the fish eat, and then once you do, man, you got it. Lift up, start reeling, and you got it there. But that's one of the toughest things to keep in mind for the bass fishermen that are out there. When you go down there, don't go to jerking on the rod. But, well, guys, we'll get ready to take another quick break. We'll be right back here in just a minute with some more Southern Woods and Waters.